Welcome to the SEC on ESPN from beautiful Greenville, South Carolina. It is semifinal day at the SEC tournament. Yesterday, we saw the top 4 seeds in action for the first time. South Carolina, well, they looked like the #1 team in the nation. Aaliyah Boston, her 19th double-double of the season, and they eliminated Arkansas, putting up 93 points in that game. And Ole Miss, Angel Baker, a cool 23 points as they sent Texas A&M home. Both of these teams back in the semifinals, a rematch in this round of the tournament. Our second semifinal of the day, it'll be Tennessee and LSU about 30 minutes after this first game finishes. Our championship game, it's tomorrow at 3 Eastern on ESPN. Let's go! Semifinal time in Greenville. Courtney Lyle alongside national championship winning head coach and soon-to-be Hall of Famer Carolyn Peck. Brooke Weisbrod on the sidelines giving us analysis today. And it has been such a fun week at this tournament. I think we've seen a little bit of everything.
Well, on Wednesday, all the lower seeds, they advance. Thursday, we had a little spicy drama. Yesterday, we had weather problems. So what does today hold? I expect us to have 2 great basketball games.
Yeah, things could get a little spicy in these 2 games, too. And you know, for South Carolina, Aaliyah Boston, she loves this stage. She's going to come out and give it her all.
Well, she's had another fantastic regular season, and that has dawned her to be the SEC Player of the Year and the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. She is the only player that has done that 2 years in a row. She brings confidence to the court. She is dominant defensively. She's got the versatility inside and out, and she is laser focused to get these Gamecocks to the finals for tomorrow.
She's also a few rebounds away for some more history. 6 rebounds from tying the South Carolina record set by Sheila Foster. But this South Carolina team, they're going to face an Ole Miss team that took them to overtime in the regular season. And you know, Coach Yo and the Rebels are not afraid to be tested.
There are only 3 teams that I hadn't beat, and I'm not going to sleep until I do it. So I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. I don't know when it's going to be. But if we want to be considered a top program like they are, then we have to go through them.
Well, you think that would be perfect bulletin board material, but I tell you what, this week it's all been about healthy respect for your opponents. That's been the theme. And one Gamecock fan actually tweeted out after Coach O's statement saying, basically, Coach, we love you, but you're our second favorite team, and we hope you don't get the win today. So an equal amount of respect, and it was great talking to Dawn Staley this morning about Coach O's growth and how she feels about it. She said, I see her. I've seen she's done it the right way, and I'm proud of how she's building it. And guys, she also sent that text to Yo late last night saying, hey, let's give the people a show. Let's go.
I love that. We're going to see a show with these 2 teams today.
I talked to Coach Yo this morning. Not only a show, she said, let's give the people what they want.
Love it. This semifinal is going to be fun. As we said, they went to overtime in the regular season. What stood out to you about how Ole Miss took this #1 team in the nation to OT?
The bigs of Ole Miss were able to battle inside with the length of South Carolina. Coach Yo brought out a zone defense. I think caught South Carolina a little bit off guard. And the other thing that caught my eye was second chance points. Ole Miss had 12. South Carolina only 7.
South Carolina, they average almost 20 second chance points a game. They love to rebound the basketball, one of the best teams in the nation to do that. South Carolina, the #1 seed in the SEC tournament once again. Ole Miss, the #4 seed in the SEC tournament in back-to-back years. And Angel Baker, who went from SEC 6th Woman of the Year last year to a starter, a first-team All-SEC selection this year. She's a big part of that.
She came in first game of this tournament against Texas A&M with 23 points. She served up 17 points against South Carolina. I expect her to be locked in today.
We're only about an hour and a half from Columbia, South Carolina, so you know there's going to be Garnet in the building today. Semifinal time in Greenville.
You see Ole Miss in that zone, trying to keep the ball from going inside, but that's right where South Carolina went from the jump.
Leah Boston had a second look at it, but Ole Miss all over her. And you see the starting lineup for the Ole Miss Rebels. Rita Ibokwe is going to get the start today because of how she performed in that last game against South Carolina.
She was willing and able to battle with Aaliyah Boston, but I want to keep track of Angel Baker, how many shots she takes and makes from the elbow area. That's her spot.
Victoria Saxton underneath the basket. She was shut down by Ibokwe. Look, Ibokwe had a career-high 6 blocks in the first meeting against South Carolina.
Why would you not put her in the starting lineup if she's playing defense like that?
Maya Taylor running this Ole Miss Rebels team, number 1 in red, the transfer from Mississippi State, a veteran point guard. Here's Angel Baker, number 15 in red. Maya Taylor driving in, looking for the bank. And Ole Miss is going to get it back.
So this is going to be a game that is going to be decided by the post play of South Carolina, the guards of Ole Miss.
Dawn Staley, her 6th season with 30-plus wins in the last 9. They're looking for their 8th finals appearance. They have won 6 SEC tournament titles. Looking to make it 7 this year to go along with that 7th SEC regular season title.
They're going to have to solve the riddle of this 1-3-1.
Marquisha Davis comes out with it, trying to go back the other way. It is hard to score down low on the length of South Carolina.
Now, Leah Boston was the Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC, but I think it had to be a hard decision between her and Bree Bill, because Bree Bill has played fantastic defense all season long.
I'm going to raise you and say all her career long.
Well, that is true.
So that's what got her in the starting lineup as a freshman. Madison Scott looking for the bank, and it rattles out. Why is this 1-3-1 defense tricky for South Carolina so far?
Well, because it's not a traditional 1-3-1. If you watch, right now, Angel Baker is playing the middle. Normally, it's a smaller player that would be in the back, go corner to corner. You're going to watch Baker, how she moves around and tries to help out inside, but nobody was there to help on Aaliyah Boston.
First points for South Carolina. Her stat line from yesterday against Arkansas, she packed it, but she was most excited about the 5 assists.
Well, she's a willing passer. That was one of the areas of growth Dawn Staley wanted to see from Aaliyah Boston. So she's dropping dimes yesterday.
Marquisha Davis pulling up, trying to at the SEC logo. Boston made it really tough.
So tough to stop Aaliyah Boston. Once she gets the ball in the paint, the patience. She recognizes where the defense is, and then when she decides where she wants to go, there's not much you can do about it.
Maya Taylor coming off the screen, hitting Angel Baker. Short on the jumper, rebound by Boston.
But where'd she take that shot? Right in that elbow area. She loves that area of the floor.
Boston on the trail, they'll swing it over to Beal. Bree Beal gets stripped on her way up for the layup. Coach Yo in her 5th season. Look, you wondered how Ole Miss was going to be once Shakira Austin, the grad transfer, came in and graduated last year. She was a 3rd pick in the WNBA draft, and Coach Yo just reloaded.
She keeps an eye out, and she doesn't just take players that decide to go in the portal because they're unhappy. She looks at players and which ones will fit in her system. She knows what she's looking for. She said it's kind of like when you go shopping online, you put it in the cart, you just don't push purchase.
Bree Beal is fouled, count the bucket. She has become much more than just a defender. That scoring has really evolved this year for Bree Beal.
Transition game, and you know what I'm going to say, Courtney Lyle.
Do it.
Bully ball. I love it.
First foul whistled against Angel Baker. It puts Bree Beal at the free throw line. She came out and hit a couple of big threes to set the tone against Arkansas yesterday.
Well, she gained the respect of Dawn Staley from day one when she came in as a freshman. Bree Beal did. And it was because of the tenacity that she had on the defensive side of the ball. And she has now continued to grow her game shooting the three, attacking off the bounce. So both sides, Bree Beal is an impact.
Bucket by Marquisha Davis. Bree Beal projected to be a top 10 WNBA draft pick too. We're going to see a few of those projected top 10 picks today. Of course, Aaliyah Boston projected number 1. Boston, 3 players on her, not a problem. Ready. Angel Baker pulls it out. And that's a foul on Bree Beal, her first.
Because it's a 1-3-1, what you want to do is you've got to move the basketball and get it to the wing, let the defense shift, and that diagonal pass is going to be there. Just throw it to the corner of the backboard, and Aaliyah Boston can go after it.
Snowda Collins in the game. One of the talented shooters for Ole Miss.
Aaliyah Boston already 3 rebounds.
Zia Cook, she knew it! Zia Cook, South Carolina's leading scorer, but she was 1 for 10 yesterday from the field. Snowda was looking for Madison Scott. First team All-SEC, Zia Cook.
Kiera Fletcher immediately, she grabbed her leg.
Fletcher transferring in from Georgia Tech after 4 seasons there. Missed last year with an injury. Good to see her get up, and all of her teammates right there with her.
Because Kiera Fletcher was playing some of her best basketball. She's finally gotten comfortable in the system and found her spots where she fit. You'll see as she's going down, she stepped on Madison Scott's ankle, stepped on her foot.
They're going to help her back to the locker room. We'll try to get an update on Kiera Fletcher. And what was the word Dawn used with us when we asked about Kiera today? Flourishing.
She was flourishing.
I loved it.
Yes.
They called double dribble on Raven Johnson, who has come in to replace Fletcher. But South Carolina on top 11-4. When we come back, some lessons from the first meeting against the Gamecocks.
During the South Carolina game, it really showed that we could compete with the best.
They took the #1 team in the country to overtime.
Bringing the #1 team in the nation to the pavilion. That game, you let us know that we can compete with anybody.
Baker with a step-back 3.
They got a lot of second chance points. That's something that we'll adjust to if we get to see them again.
Cardoso cleans it up.
Going into March Madness, we're experience ready for any kind of situations.
We're gonna make it hard for them.
That first game, I mean, it was fun to watch. Going to overtime, 64-57 win. It's incredible what Coach Yo has done with this Ole Miss program, because the environment, too, that was played in Oxford in the pavilion. The crowd, it was an SEC record for Ole Miss when it comes to attendance.
Yeah, it was over 6,500 people that were there. The excitement for women's basketball in Ole Miss is back.
Yeah, and look at the improvement. The 2019-2020 season, 0-16 in SEC play. Now 11 wins in the conference. First time with back-to-back 10-win SEC seasons.
Coach Yo's got them playing in Oxford. She's finding what fits her system. She told me today, she said she knows that she's got to get another big guard. She's looking for one side, like 1, 2, and 5 is what she's looking for to bring in. She already knows what that looks like, so she'll know what to go after in recruiting season.
A miss by Zia Cook. South Carolina had hit its last 5 shots. Ole Miss trying to answer. Madison Scott with the rebound, but it was swatted away by Aaliyah Boston. Possession arrow to Ole Miss. Rita Ibokwe is going to check back in. If you're just joining us, she started this game because of the performance she had in the regular season against South Carolina. And you hear the cheers. Camila Cardoso coming in for the first time for the Gamecocks.
When 6'7" comes in, life gets a little easier for the Gamecocks because Aaliyah Boston can step out, they can lob it up, Camila can go to work.
The SEC 6th Woman of the Year, Camila Cardoso, averaging almost 10 points and almost 9 rebounds a game off of the bench.
She is like the 6th starter for South Carolina.
If you could start 6 players, it might be even more scary to play South Carolina.
No question.
Their bench production is incredible. 37 points off the bench a game. Boston got robbed on that one. That was in and then popped out.
Well, Boston didn't recognize she had the left side wide open.
Baker misses on the drive. Up ahead to Zia Cook by herself. She got loose. 4 points for Cookie.
Like that two-hand advance pass by Camila Cardoso.
Coach Yo and Ole Miss called timeout. We step aside for 30 seconds. South Carolina, 6-0 run. It's been a great week here in Greenville, South Carolina, and we're not done yet. Our first semifinal, Ole Miss and South Carolina Gamecocks on a 6-0 run. South Carolina trying to make its 8th finals appearance. For Ole Miss, it would be their 3rd, but the first since 1983.
Wow.
Diet Singleton coming in. Excuse me. That's Alana Eaton coming in, knocking down the 3. The Arkansas transfer. 21 threes on the season.
Now, defensively, watch Eaton in the middle. She's the 1-3-1. She is the one that will be covering out. South Carolina keeps their, or Ole Miss keeps their bigs in, but Zia Cook is knocking it down from outside.
7 points now for Zia Cook. Much different day than yesterday. She was 1 for 10 from the field. There's Taya Singleton. 3 ball, 3 ball, 3 ball everywhere.
Shoot them up.
Love it.
These teams are trying to get to the SEC Finals.
Raven Johnson's going to pull things back. If you're just joining us, Kira Fletcher went down with an injury. Bree Beal.
Yeah, she got that.
Didn't even need bully ball on that one.
Yeah, it's more than just defense and rebounding for Bree Beal. She's got a 3-point shot in her bag.
The last 4 total possessions have all ended in a 3-pointer.
I love it. We saw some defensive battles getting to this point. The offense coming. I'm all about it. It's the last 4 threes. You've got Eaton for 3 for Ole Miss. Then Zia Cook comes down. If you don't guard her, she can give it right back. Then again, Singleton up top, and then Bree Beal said, I want a piece of that. She knocks down to 3 as well.
Bree Beal just whistled for her 2nd foul. Gonna put Marquisha Davis at the free throw line. First free throws for Ole Miss today.
See, that's the luxury, though, that Dawn Staley has. Bree Beal gets in foul trouble. What does she do? Go to Bree Hall. And Breezy is that
you have to change first names.
And and what Bree Hall brings to the floor is a defensive presence who has also worked on her offensive game, so she's a 3-point threat as well.
Bree Hall, number 23 in white, the color Breezy. Letitia Mehier in the high post, trying to drive in, and now she'll go to the free throw line.
What South Carolina is doing against this defense, knowing that if you send a cutter through the middle of the lane, that's drawing that middle person out, matched up, so it looks like a man-to-man. That clears or overloads the ball away from the weak side that gave that lane to a Mehier.
It was interesting talking to Coach Yo about why they made the change to the 1-3-1 for South Carolina, because Ole Miss is a man team. She said, look, we worked on it for 30 minutes. We didn't spend a ton of time on it, but we thought that it would help us challenge them, and it certainly did.
Oh, it definitely worked. And I think that her approach of not over-coaching the zone, because a lot of times you put a zone in and then players say, well, what if they go here or what if they go there? Zone is an awareness defense. You have to be aware of where a player is. If there's nobody in your area, you got to go find somebody. You also have to trust each other. You've got to talk and you've got to communicate.
Back up top to Singleton. Angel Baker, 10 seconds now. Angel Baker drops it in. She's got 4.
That's her spot. So just off that elbow area. You got to get to Angel Baker.
Look at South Carolina's numbers, sharing the basketball, 8 assists on 8 made field goals. Camila Cardoso, free throw line. Brooke, do you have an update on Kiera Fletcher?
Saw her walking around back here in the tunnel without any shoes or socks on, but she was walking okay on her own. Looked like she was headed into the training room. So that's the latest update I have for you.
Awesome, thank you so much. We'll keep an eye on her. Shaken up early in this first quarter, so Raven Johnson has taken over. Not something that's new, of course. Ravens used to coming in and speeding things up.
It's a terrific 1-2 punch that South Carolina has. And I'd like him to like fire and ice. Kiera Fletcher, very cool, calm, and collected. Raven Johnson, when she comes in, she's like putting hot sauce on your meal. She spiced things up. It gets really speedy when she comes in the game.
That's how it is calling a game with you.
Yeah, you always got to bring
That's
a
a
little
good thing.
cayenne, put a little cayenne on it.
Madison Scott drives back out to Baker on the baseline short. Bree Hall just got pushed to the floor by Letitia Meir. Count it!
Letitia Meir is 6'4", can play the point. She kept her eyes focused. I'm not sure if Madison Scott, was she moving forward or was her foot in the restricted area?
Now, once you establish that legal guarding position, you can move laterally, you can move back, you cannot move forward. And because that play started outside of the lower defensive box, the restricted area would be in play, but they ruled a block.
Yeah, it looked like, though, Meir might have dipped her shoulder a little bit. That may have been what Coach Yo was upset about.
Nevertheless, it's a foul on Madison Scott, her first. Shot clock still on for Ole Miss. Eight seconds, Maya Taylor's got to go. Two, one. Shot clock violation. South Carolina's top 5 scoring defense on display. And a Meir's heave will be well short. The Gamecocks are going to end the first quarter on a 6-2 run. Kiera Fletcher still working in the hallway right outside the locker room here in Greenville. But South Carolina on top after 10 minutes, 25-14. A spot in the champ game on the line. Another impressive season for the South Carolina Gamecocks. They are undefeated, 30-0, 16-0 in SEC play. They have won 36 straight games, dating back to the championship game in this tournament last year in Nashville.
They have rebooted, but they still continue to hang their hats on a couple of things. One, they're going to defend. 2, they're going to rebound. And the thing they've done much better this year is the ball's moving. They share the basketball, move the basketball, and the depth that they have now with the accumulation of talent that Dawn Staley has brought in.
Did you see that point differential?
Oh, it was almost 30 points a game.
That they're winning games by. That's incredible.
You know, the standard used to be, first it started with Pat Summitt in Tennessee. Then it was Connecticut that were beating teams that way. Now it's South Carolina, and Dawn Staley has now built that dynasty at South Carolina, so she's in the conversations with those greats. Yeah, we're gonna see Kim Mulkey, who won 3 national championships at Baylor. She's got LSU in the semifinals. They'll play later today.
Yeah, they're the number 2 seed in this tournament for the 2nd straight year, both under Kim Mulkey, so we'll see them take on Tennessee about 30 minutes after this game is over.
That's the impact that Camila Cardoso has, that reach that she has. She's either blocking shots or altering them.
Raven Johnson pulling up with the logo, no. Marquisha Davis now. Elbow, and Cardoso's right there.
So when you have a player like Camila Cardoso, you feel real comfortable giving Aaliyah Boston some minutes to take a break. Look at her, right there, 6'7". Cardoso on the glass.
Over everybody.
And smiling along the way.
Alana Eaton. Kira Fletcher is back on the bench. That's why you hear the crowd cheering. Yeah, she's got both shoes on and she's heading to the scorer's table to check in. Johnson, the dish over to Letitia Meeher, missed it. And she's gonna be fouled by Madison Scott. That's her 2nd.
Look, she came from the locker room straight to the check-in table. Dawn Staley said, whoa, wait a minute. Take a second.
She's ready.
Let me check in with
you. This is the semifinals.
You can't. Well, if you're Kira Fletcher, you might. You know, you left with some time on the clock. You come in, you don't want to waste any time. You just bypass coach and go straight to the table. Oh, Victoria Saxon had a heck of a game yesterday.
Season high 19 points.
Oh.
It was big for South Carolina when she decided to come back for that 5th year. She is such a key piece of the heart of this South Carolina team.
That was one of the biggest pieces at the end of last season that Dawn Staley and her staff were concerned about is how do you replace a player like Victoria Saxon? And when she said she was coming back, that had to be a sigh of relief.
Bucket for Letitia Meeher. Meanwhile, Ole Miss, last 5 possessions, they've gone 0 for 3 from the field with a couple of turnovers. Looking for the long ball and got it. Taya Singleton. That's her 2nd 3. You know, Brooke, talking about pieces like Victoria Saxon, I think it's so impressive how Dawn Staley gets every player to buy into their role because they have a huge bench.
They buy in so much, they're sprinting back out of the locker room to hustle in the game. So that's a buy-in. But you're right, and can you imagine being an all-star in high school and then coming to a program like South Carolina where you might sniff a minute late in a game, but still have that much support for the rest of your team? That's how you know you got a good chemistry.
Well, Dawn Staley she's very particular about players that she brings into South Carolina because it is about team, not me, when you play for the Gamecocks. And the focus has to be in winning and winning championships. You got to have that as your primary goal when you come to South Carolina.
Bray Hall's going to be called for the travel. Aaliyah Boston checks back into the game. We're watching some history now for Aaliyah Boston. 1 rebound away from tying the South Carolina career rebounding record set by Sheila Foster, who is in this gym today.
Oh, and I can hear Sheila Foster from here. She's yelling all the time at those South Carolina basketball games.
Sona College trying to get around Boston. South Carolina ball.
The depth of South Carolina is so valuable, so important. We're talking about the players that come in. A little while ago, stat came up, 25 points per game South Carolina gets from their bench. 27.
Boston's going to be at the free throw line. Ibokwe whistled for the foul. That'll be her first. Kira Fletcher back in. Good to go after getting banged up early in the first quarter.
Fletcher's been playing so well. That Tennessee game, the 2 threes she hit in the corner. The confidence that she has now gained in becoming part of the offense, not just a distributor. Letitia Ami here. Oh, Baker said, you're not getting that one.
South Carolina #1 in the nation in blocks per game. And Maya Taylor is fouled by Kira Fletcher. Maya Taylor will be at the free throw line, a 70% free throw shooter. Well, LMU plays BYU in a West Coast Conference men's quarterfinal game tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, followed by Santa Clara and San Francisco for the right to play in the semifinals on Monday. Championship will be Tuesday, 9 Eastern on ESPN. We'll have a day full of championships for you tomorrow, starting with College Game Day is going to be here.
Game Day is going to kick things off. Rebecca Lobo, Andrea Carter, Elle Duncan, Holly Rowe will be in the house tomorrow.
You'll be up there too?
I'll be up there with them. We'll be breaking down what's happening across all the Power 5 conferences and the conference championships that are going on Sunday.
That's 8 points for Letitia Ami here. She had 16 yesterday. Scott diving on the floor along with Ami here, and possession arrow is going to stay with Ole Miss.
Now, the one player that Coach O wants to see get going is Madison Scott, because she feels like if she plays well, Ole Miss plays well. She's improved her game. She's become more of an assertive player offensively, especially now that Shakira Austin's moved on to the WNBA.
And Madison Scott, she's trying to post up Zaya Cook right now. Cardoso, it's hard to shoot over 6'7". Second chance is going to go, though, for Marquisha Davis.
Now, you stay with it. Don't get discouraged when you get your shot blocked by South Carolina. Stay in the play. You're in the best position to rebound it back and get another opportunity.
Pass taken away in the middle by Ibokwe. Beat it up ahead. There's Madison Scott. First points for Scott. And a travel on South Carolina. SEC tournament semifinal, South Carolina up, and Aaliyah Boston still chasing another piece of South Carolina history, one rebound away from tying the career rebounding record at South Carolina. Alyssa, Drea, Steffi, thank you so much.
Well, the good thing for South Carolina, they only have 5 turnovers. That was a problem in Oxford that allowed Ole Miss to get out and running. But the thing that they have done extremely well is get the ball inside in the paint. They're outscoring Ole Miss 20-6 inside. And the thing that Ole Miss is trying to do right now is guard South Carolina one-on-one. That's not working out so well.
This is a South Carolina team. They love the paint. 55% of their points come in the paint. They had 60 paint points yesterday against Arkansas.
That is
a lot.
Crazy.
Eight seconds, Zaya Cook.
That's what Madison Scott needs to do. Stay in attack mode.
Last touch by the Gamecocks. Yeah, Madison Scott, her journey, she was the SEC Freshman of the Year, came in as a 5-star, number 13 overall, and she was the first McDonald's All-American at Ole Miss. SEC Freshman of the Year, and then last year it was tough. You got the scouting report on you as a sophomore. People know what your game is, so it's been impressive to see her improvement this season.
Well, I think last season, too, she was trying to figure out where her spot was, playing beside Shakira Austin. And now this year, she has to be that person, be the woman, be the one that can help Angel Baker score buckets.
You know, Shakira Austin was a 3rd pick in the WNBA draft, a huge weapon for Ole Miss last year. First foul whistled against Maya Taylor.
And the other thing, Ole Miss is built on defense. Interesting to see with the bigs on the floor. It's a big lineup for South Carolina. Coach O think about going a full court press and try to force South Carolina into some turnovers.
Two for Zaya Cook, and she's got 9 points. Ilana Eaton back in for the Rebels to replace Angel Baker. Maya Taylor's fouled by Raven Johnson.
That's a smart headsy play by Maya Taylor. She knows that Raven Johnson's trying to run her down, and she severs, which brings the dribble over in the path of the defense to draw that foul.
Maya Taylor is a veteran. She was a 5-star, #1 player in Mississippi.
She transferred from Mississippi State, coming right over to the in-state rival.
It's gonna be an offensive foul on Ole Miss. That's the 3rd on Madison Scott.
That's crucial. But Singleton, she's come in, she's 2 for 2 from the 3-point line. She can stretch the defense.
Meanwhile, for South Carolina, no field goals in 2.5 minutes. And now a turnover into the hands of Singleton.
That's just a big no-no by South Carolina. When you're throwing it to Cardoso, you don't ever want to underpass that basketball.
She'll go up and get it. She's 6'7".
Exactly.
Baker covered up by Letitia Me here. Can't pivot out of it. 5 seconds. Maya Taylor rolls out.
I'd love her 2-hand outlet pass, Camila Cardoso. It's like with the goalies in soccer, that 2-hand overhead pass. She's got that strength.
She has really found her role on the South Carolina team this year. Look at Boston.
Like a ballerina.
Working, working, working. Ole Miss player shaken up on the other end. Rita Ibokwe.
And Coach O's going to have to check somebody in her place.
back to the locker room. Snuda Collins is going to come in to replace her.
Well, now Ole Miss has got 5 3-point threats on the floor. All 5 players can play on the perimeter.
Singleton. Not around Cardoso. Raven Johnson up ahead to Leticia Me here, and she's fouled by Angel Baker.
What is so impressive to me about South Carolina and the length that they have is they have the ability to play away from the basket, and once you get the ball in the paint, things get dark because they bring the denial, shot blocking ability, and then they're off and running, off to the races, running as hard as they can.
I know Camila Cardoso, she took some time over the summer to spend with her family. She's originally from Brazil, started her career at Syracuse. Spent some time with her national team too, but it really recharged her. And when she came back to South Carolina, she was ready to put in the work. It's paying off right now in the postseason.
You can see it. She's in terrific shape. You see that more confidence, and she's demanding the basketball more instead of deferring and saying, oh, it's supposed to go to Aaliyah. No, Camila Cardoso is like, give it to me.
8 rebounds for Cardoso, all of them in the second quarter.
Look, there you go. Another rebound for Camila Cardoso.
Johnson over to Boston, short. Angel Baker swish.
A little 10-foot jumper. That's Baker's sweet spot. She get there, it is money.
6 points now for Baker. We've got Boston and Cardoso on the blocks now for South Carolina.
Well, especially when you have Baker guarding Camila Cardoso, you got to get her the basketball. Uh-oh.
Stuffed!
The top shot blocking team in the country. The South Carolina Gamecocks. Even when you think you've got to look, it's not quite going to be that open.
Think again. 7 blocks for South Carolina. You all right? Did you like that one?
I did. You said think again. The agility of Camila Cardoso in her defense. So impressive.
Sure.
Zaya Cook, 6 seconds now. Turned it over. Maya Taylor up ahead to Snuda Collins and didn't get the shot off in time. South Carolina 40 points in the first half, 22 of those coming in the paint. 8 blocks already for South Carolina. Brooke is standing by with John Staley.
Coach, 22 paint points in this first half. How are you able to score inside against their zone?
We got some movement on the backside of it. We got a lot of motion to it. So if you don't match up, we're gonna get the ball in spots in which we can feed our post players. We can hit jumpers. We can jet action off of that. So I like what our offense is doing, but we can't have those type of empty possessions at the end of the quarter.
Giving them a lot of options offensively, defensively. They are not getting many points in the paint. A lot of block shots for your post. Why has their defense been so effective?
We got a little bit of height on, a little length on Baker. LA's doing a great job on it. I mean, we want to win. We want to win, so we want to be connected on the defensive side of the ball. I think we're doing a great job of rebounding the ball. Camila is doing a great job. Raven is pushing the ball out. We got to open this lead up because no lead is safe.
Thank you, Coach. Alyssa, over to you.
We welcome you back to the SEC on ESPN. Halftime here in our first semifinal. South Carolina, the #1 team in the nation. They're up on Ole Miss, 40-25. The South Carolina team, the details, they don't slide through the cracks. Paint points, 22 of them, and they have assisted 10 assists on 14 made field goals. They are sharing the basketball. They've also blocked a few shots. How about 8 blocks in the first half for the defending national champion? We're set for the second half. Courtney Lyle, Carolyn Peck, and Brooke Weisbrod with you. And the South Carolina team, you heard Dawn tell Brooke at the half, how are we beating this 1-3-1? Well, the ball movement certainly helps.
You can't stand around the perimeter when you're playing against the zone. You've got to cut through. So let's take a look at a Peck, and how South Carolina has been able to beat this zone. With some ball screen action, you're going to see Camila Cardoso off the screen. She's going to come through, and when she does, you're going to see 3 defenders that are going to follow her. When that happens, what's going to be open? It's going to be Victoria Saxton on the backside, and she's able to get an easy 2 against that zone.
This is something Ole Miss brought out in the first meeting against South Carolina, and Dawn Staley told us they weren't ready for it. I mean, Ole Miss is a man-to-man team. They spent about 30 minutes working on the zone and then played it against South Carolina, but this time the Gamecocks ready for it.
Well, I'm sure that Ole Miss had to talk about, because they were going with cutters, they were looking at, see, it's that middle person of the 1-3-1, the middle of the 3, that is responsible for covering out. And what South Carolina was doing was sending cutters through, causing an overload coverage, and then putting big size on the backside of their offense.
Brooke, what did Coach Yo have to say coming out of the locker room?
You know what, not a whole lot, but exactly what she told us this morning was, this isn't us, we've got to show up. And that was her big word that she said this morning. But what I did like, though, was Angel Baker was one of the first ones out of the locker room. Stop, turn around, and made sure she dabbed up everybody, just saying, hey, come on, Red, let's get it going.
Well, Leah Boston, Brooke, just tied the rebounding record at South Carolina. 6 in this game. She has 1,427 to tie Sheila Foster, who is in the crowd watching this game. They'll wave off the bucket. The foul occurred before. There's Sheila.
And having a great time. She is always happy every time I see her. And she is so excited about the success that Dawn Staley has continued to really bring to the community of Columbia, South Carolina.
Maya Taylor for 3. Madison Scott, Coach Yo told us she was going to be a key piece today, but unfortunately picked up 3 fouls in the first half. And then South Carolina's going to throw it away. Raven Johnson getting the start in this second half over Kiera Fletcher.
Both Sheila Foster and Dawn Staley had the same look on their face, a little concerned over those turnovers.
8 turnovers for South Carolina. They average 12 a game.
South Carolina switching on these screens. And they can. It doesn't matter what position you play for South Carolina, they can defend it all over the floor.
Angel Baker heaves up a shot with the shot clock winding down. 1-on-1 for Zaya Cook. Free throw line, here she comes. 11 points for Zaya.
Heads up by Raven Johnson, finding Cook at the other end. Baker should have let that one go.
It's going to be Angel Baker's 3rd foul. Zaya Cook has really grown into her own this season. I mean, she came in a highly touted player. Part of the freshies, that #1 freshman class that came in 2019. But her efficiency has gone up, her confidence has gone up.
I think it's because she has gotten into her senior season, and instead of putting so much pressure on herself of that she's got to perform, she's matured and said she just needs to go and play and just use and rely on her instincts.
Bree Beal has to chase it. And she gets blocked under the basket by Singleton. Excuse me, by Ibokwe. This is going to be Ole Miss ball.
Now can Ole Miss convert? They're running Angel Baker off a lot of diagonal staggered screens because they recognize that South Carolina is switching. If you're a screener and there's a switch, that's your opportunity. You have to look to slip to the basket. Now they've gone to a horn set.
Baker's shot off the mark. Both Victoria Saxton and Rita Ibokwe hit the floor hard.
Ibokwe, that looked a little painful. Wasn't she the one that left the floor earlier after a collision? Went right out into the hallway, and Coach O had to find somebody to check in.
Well, she's got 3 fouls now.
That's the shot right there. Victoria Saxton's got to make on a regular to make it in the WNBA. That's what scouts are looking for.
Baker in trouble, fell down, got back up, didn't lose it. Baker got to her shot, but didn't have any room to shoot. We talked about it in the first half. Angel Baker loves that elbow area. Second foul whistled against Raven Johnson. Bree Halchek said to replace Zaya Cook. Cook leading South Carolina with 12 points.
Sienna Collins, a three-point shooter, hasn't been able to get any open looks for Ole Miss. She was 5 for 7 the first time these two teams played the regular season.
She struggled from deep in their last 2 games. 0 for 7 from 3 over the last 2. Ole Miss gets it back. Ole Miss 0 for 8 to start the third quarter. Too much traffic. Victoria Saxton saves it, back over to Bree Beal. Shaken off the defense.
Keep an eye on Victoria Saxton and how she still allows enough distance when she's defending on the perimeter that she still has the ability to alter the shots.
Nice bucket for Taya Singleton, the transfer from Rutgers.
We talked to Coach O about Singleton. What did she bring in after Coach Stringer retired? Ty came to Oxford, and she really, Coach O loves her work ethic that Taya brings.
Yeah, it is non-stop work ethic for Singleton. As Bree Beal hits, she's got 10.
Well, if you played for Coach Stringer, she didn't sign you if you didn't have a good work ethic.
Ole Miss calling a timeout here. 5:20 in the third quarter. South Carolina up in our semifinal.
Something that I'm most proud of myself is definitely be winning a national championship. Proud that we're able to accomplish the goals that we set.
There won't be another Aaliyah Boston. Her daily standard of how she moves, how she lives her life, how she comes into practice every day. She never lets herself down because she has a high standard of living, playing, and being successful.
Well, we've seen another accolade get added to Aaliyah Boston's resume today. All-time leading rebounder in South Carolina history, 2-time SEC Player of the Year. Career double-doubles, it seems so easy. Just keeps coming. She's tied for second in the SEC in that category.
The thing I've been so impressed with Aaliyah Boston throughout her whole career is she has been inquisitive. She has wanted to find things that she can learn about the game and areas where she can improve her craft. And she has taken her knowledge and then put it into work. And that's why she has become such a great player.
Yeah, Brooke, she came in a great player, and she just gets better and better and better.
You know what I loved yesterday is how you brought up her big smile getting those 5 assists. And, I mean, her rebounding numbers are out of control. Over 1,400 just coming into this game. And you're right, you see her game develop almost into a guard-like vision. She's a communicator. I mean, she's a PG center out there, just running the show.
You will watch Aaliyah Boston. You see how she's always talking, communicating on the defensive end and the offensive end. She's pointing to where players need to be.
Greenville whistled for the foul. But Aaliyah Boston today, 8 points, 7 rebounds. We step aside for a moment. South Carolina in control.
Back here in Greenville, South Carolina, Aaliyah Boston is demonstrating why she has been the reigning National Player of the Year. She can do so many different things. When she wants a bucket, she can go get it. She commands the paint. She commands the glass. She's a tremendous shot blocker, and she's got a tremendous high basketball IQ. That's why the Indiana Fever right now, if Lynn Dunn keeps that #1 pick, she has no choice. She's got to take Aaliyah Boston. When you can get a talent and a mind like Aaliyah Boston and a high character young woman.
Yeah, the complete package. Aaliyah Boston, the reigning National Player of the Year, the SEC Player and Defensive Player of the Year for the 2nd straight season.
Absolutely. I know there's a lot of conversation of, is she going to be National Player of the Year? They talk about Aaliyah Boston. They talk about Caitlin Clark of Iowa. You talk about Mackenzie Holmes at Indiana. You talk about Angel Reese at LSU. I mean, there's a lot of talent across the country, but I believe that it should be Aaliyah Boston. And especially since right now, you have South Carolina. They're undefeated. They're sitting overall #1 when it comes to what that seeding is going to be in the NCAA tournament.
And they've won 36 straight games. When it comes to National Player of the Year, Brooke, what do you think?
I do think Boston is deserving of Player of the Year. And again, I love this conversation because when you put Boston up against, a Caitlin Clark and even players like Maddie Siegrist, who has really risen from the ranks of Villanova, dropping points every single night. You're talking about women who we're going to see for a long time in the WNBA. And so I get excited when I think about these kind of discussions that have just really shown themselves up in women's basketball to where we can have healthy debates about who the best player is in the court.
Brooke, I love it because there's more than one or two to talk about.
Yeah.
There's so many great, talented players in the women's game.
Angel Baker, a very talented player, too. She hits that 3 for Ole Miss. South Carolina has come out shooting the ball 50% from the field. Meanwhile, Ole Miss 26%. Already 30 points for the Gamecocks. And Victoria Saxton adding 2 more.
Do you know how strong her lower body is? She can get her body twisted and turned, and she still is able to maintain enough balance to get a good shot.
She's always leaping up into the air to get a rebound, to block a shot.
Look how she runs the floor.
Letitia Meeher does too. Hesitation, go the other side. She has 15. Singleton, short. Well, Southern Hoops, a history of SEC basketball, part 6 of the 7-part documentary looks at years 2000 through 2011. Pat Summitt and Candace Parker go back-to-back, and Simone Augustus stars for LSU. It's Monday at 9 Eastern over on the SEC Network and the ESPN app.
I was in part of the one that was a series before that, and talking about Pat Summitt when she had Michelle Marciniak on her team and had to bounce back after the loss in '95 to the Connecticut Huskies, and then coming back and winning 3 national championships in a row.
We're going to see Tennessee coming up later today, 30 minutes after this game. They'll play in our second semifinal against LSU. Tennessee trying to get back to the SEC tournament final for the first time since 2015. Scott well off the mark. And it's been a tough shooting day for Ole Miss, something you can't do against South Carolina.
Well, you got to know that Coach Yo is disappointed in how her team played, expecting them to have a better performance, especially coming in with the confidence that you took the #1 team in the country to overtime. But the adjustments that South Carolina has made and prepared for that zone, have just been able to get the shots that they've wanted.
You know, Drea Carter up on the set before this game started, she talked about how South Carolina, she said it has a smooth confidence about them. I love that. I mean, you're right. Drea was right. They haven't been rattled by anything. They had an amazing game against Stanford in December, went into overtime, made their way through that, and they've just gotten better. No matter the situation, they handled it.
Well, Connecticut took it down, you know, till crunch time to the end. They were able to pull it off. Georgia had a lead on South Carolina in the first part of the regular season, and South Carolina didn't panic. They were able to put things together and pull away. And I think a lot of that has to do, yes, Dawn Staley, the coach, and getting the right players in the right position, but the leadership led by Victoria Saxton and Aaliyah Boston and those freshies. They are collective together and focused on trying to go after yet another NCAA national championship.
Now they own the SEC. Plus 26 points per game, plus 21 rebounds per game. That was their margin of victory in their perfect SEC record. Third time that they finished 16-0 in the conference. That's the most in the SEC. 4 seconds now. And Cardoso traveled.
Ooh, that was going to be a pretty move. Where's Ole Miss going to find the offense?
They go to Maddie Scott. And she's fouled by Ashlyn Watkins.
Well, Maddie Scott has been frustrated so far into this game. And this is the play that Coach Yo was looking for from number 24 in red. She's got the quickness, the ability to attack and leap over people. She's got to get more aggressive, especially in this fourth quarter, if Ole Miss wants to make a run.
I remember talking to Coach Yo last year about Madison Scott when she was a sophomore, and she called her a franchise player because she chose to come to Ole Miss when it was a program that hadn't won an SEC game.
Well, she was a McDonald's All-American, a player that has played with so much passion, energy. She just has got to keep that, get that going and do it on a consistent basis.
Watkins trying to hit at the buzzer. 10 minutes to go in this final. Winner of this game is going to get either LSU or Tennessee. 10 minutes to go. Coming up, we'll get to see Angel Reese and LSU battle Tennessee, the number 3 seed in this tournament. But fourth quarter coming up when you come back.
Gonna win. I'm about to score, then I'm gonna come back and give you some more. Should've known when you walked in my door. Undeniable, can't be ignored, yeah.
Well, South Carolina has looked like the number 1 team once again. How many times have we said that? It helps, too, that you have experience in your senior class. They were the first number 1 recruiting class. It was back in 2019. 2 Final Fours, a national championship. They have only lost 8 games in their career and only 3 SEC games in their career.
It is amazing what this crew came in, and the way that Dawn Staley described them when they came in their freshman year is how competitive they were. And they said everybody bought in, didn't have the issues. I'm not getting playing time. They just wanted to win.
Aaliyah Boston double figures now, 10 points, 9 boards. And as a coach, when you don't have to coach effort, you don't have to coach hustle, they want to buy in. How much of a difference does that make?
Dawn Staley said she talked about every day she enjoyed coming to practice. When you, as a coach, you're looking forward to going to practice because you know what you're going to see when you show up at the office. Your players are going to compete. They are ready to learn. They are ready to get better. That's why you coach. You don't want to have to coach effort. You don't want to have to coach attitude. What you want to coach are basketball players, and you want to prepare for games, and that's what she's had the luxury of being able to do with this senior class.
South Carolina with a nice lead, but they are in a scoring drought, about 3 minutes without a bucket. Cardoso fixes that.
I believe that Camila Cardoso is going to be vital as South Carolina makes their run for a national championship. And they're able to go to the bench if a team is really packing it in inside. You don't have to just settle for outside shots. You put 6, 7 in and throw over the top of the defense.
10 rebounds off the bench.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I mean.
And look how she runs the floor.
Boston's got her double-double. An 8th consecutive double-double for Aaliyah Boston in the SEC tournament, in SEC tournament games.
Wow. I mean, she comes in laser focused when it becomes SEC tournament time. You're just going to see her bring her best effort, and she knows that she has to lead by example. The rest of her team, they just follow suit.
Catching up to Sylvia Fowles, who has the record of 86 double-doubles in a career in the SEC. Boston now with 80.
I do the WNBA games for the Las Vegas Aces, so I'm around and hear Asia Wilson at practice. Aaliyah Boston is starting to talk like Asia Wilson does in the leadership role that she's in Las Vegas.
You know, it was cool. We were at practice when Asia Wilson, a couple weeks ago during the regular season, came to visit the South Carolina program, and Dawn Staley circled up the team at the end of practice. First of all, to have Asia Wilson on the practice squad, the highlighters, that's what they call them,
right?
That is a disadvantage. I mean, wow. But she circled up the team and was telling them about expectations in the WNBA and that it's tough and everybody's fighting for your position.
And you can't have a day off. You've got to bring it every single day, and I thought it was really interesting too. Raven Johnson asked Asia Wilson about Chelsea Gray and the relationship that she had with Chelsea and the connection between post and point guard.
And guys, you think about what it takes after you leave college to dictate your own schedule, right? You're in charge of your workout plan, you're in charge of your nutrition plan, your mental health, all of those things that go into your career and your paycheck as a WNBA player. And one of the things I really respect about the way South Carolina and a lot of these programs in the SEC run their business and their way is that they get these players prepared and ready to be independent on their own, to know what they got to wake up and do instead of having someone tell them every part of their day.
That's part of the maturity and grow up process of college.
Baker tips it away from Cook. Maya Taylor lay in. And Zia Cook's gonna go to the free throw line. Cook with 12 points. Fourth foul whistled on Angel Baker. This is just our first semifinal of the day. The second one will be 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game. Tennessee and LSU. That should be a fun one.
Oh, I think it's going to be great. You've got Jordan Horston and Rakia Jackson of the Lady Vols that playing some of their best basketball.
Want to let you know about another good game coming up. LMU, BYU, and a West Coast Conference men's quarterfinal game tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's on ESPN2. Santa Clara and San Francisco for the right to play in the semifinals on Monday. The championship will air Tuesday, 9 Eastern on ESPN.
We're talking about Rakia Jackson and Jordan Horston of the Lady Vols. The way that LSU came into the quarterfinals yesterday, Alexis Morris was locked in.
Shooting the leather off the basketball.
Her and the freshman of the year, Flau'jae Johnson, said, I'm going to let you know you got that award right.
Literally, she walked down the court and told us that in the middle of the game yesterday.
Freshman of the year. It's like, okay.
My favorite moment, though, she hit that shot at the buzzer, I think it was the end of the third quarter, and ran straight to Kim Mulkey, and they started yelling at each other, like in a happy way, celebrating. It was awesome.
Oh, the hype. And you know, you hit a big bucket like that, these players, they feed off the energy of Coach Mulkey, so they want to go, look, Coach, look what I did.
Leah Boston with the block. Letitia Amihir, 3 players on her. Letitia Amihir, first time all season that she has scored in double figures in back-to-back games. 16 last night, 17 today. And Coach Yo is going to take a timeout. South Carolina up 68-47, looking for a spot in the finals. Game day is going to be here tomorrow on Championship Sunday. Our championship game is going to be at 3 Eastern tomorrow on ESPN. But we still have one more semifinal to play after this one. Kim Mulkey getting ready, taking a look at who she might face if they can get a win over Tennessee tonight. Lady Vols warming up. This Tennessee team trying to get back into the SEC Tournament Championship game for the first time since 2015.
The Lady Vols have caught fire at the right time. Kelly Harper told us that she had simplified things and has gotten more consistency from her ball club.
It helps when Rakia Jackson, drops 34 points, and then Jordan Horston combines with her to score 55 yesterday.
Miss Jackson.
She is not sorry.
No, she's not.
Did you get it?
Yes. We were at 2 different songs.
Well,
it's okay.
It's a mashup.
It is. I'm a little bit surprised that Ole Miss, they went zone. They weren't having the same success, and they didn't go back to their traditional man-to-man defense that can wreak havoc on teams.
Does that surprise you at all, CP? I mean, especially because you think about Coach O in the morning telling us how little time they use preparing for the zone and coming out of the locker room saying, hey, we haven't shown up yet. So maybe, right, go back to kind of who you are in that aggressive dog-style man-to-man defense.
Well, and if your team is not bringing the fight, may seem a little intimidated, then bring full-court pressure, because when you pick up in the full court, maybe you take a big player like Camila Cardoso out of the mix and what she's been able to do today.
What she's been able to do today is a double-double, her 8th of the season, at 10 points, 11 rebounds, 5 blocks. South Carolina has 14 blocks.
The record is 16, right?
Yep, and their season high is 16. The SEC tournament record is 16. They had 16 blocks this season against Coastal Carolina. Sorry, Brooke.
Yeah, what are you doing? Come on.
It's the facts.
You're going to get to the tournament one day. Gonna get there.
Shot to clears.
It's the diagonal pass. Saxon not able to finish.
This is going to stay with South Carolina. Camila Cardoso, dub-dub.
Dub-dub, 6'7", SEC 6th Woman of the Year has come in and done what she does for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Big presence, rebound, outlet, calling for the ball inside and altering shots. She has been the intimidator coming in for South Carolina.
She scores 32% of her points on putback. She's right under the basket. When she gets that rebound, she's taking advantage of it.
Well, you talk about she's right under the basket, but she does a terrific job of positioning herself to gain advantage over her opponent so that she is able to come up either with the pass or the rebound and get the finish.
What we've seen in this game, and obviously several times this season, when Boston and Cardoso are on the floor together, what do you like most about that lineup for South Carolina?
Well, I love it when Dawn goes with Boston, Cardoso, and then she'll have maybe Bree Bill, Letitia Me here at the point, Bree Hall, the length that Dawn Staley's able to put on the floor.
South Carolina calls a timeout just to sub in. Camila Cardoso, one of those that'll take a seat.
You see Cardoso, she gets it, she keeps it high, and then nice soft touch right off the glass.
Cardoso will take a seat, 12 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks. 1 of 2 with a double-double tonight. That young lady right there, Aaliyah Boston, has the other. 10 points, 11 rebounds. Aaliyah Boston becoming the all-time leading rebounder in South Carolina history today.
Cardoso put in that kind of work in just 25 minutes.
Raven Johnson.
And now we're getting a peek into the future of South Carolina.
What do you see?
Well, you've got talent. You know, I have loved Raven Johnson even when she came in last year, got injured and wasn't able to play because I watched her in high school. But again, you're going to have length, you're going to have versatility, athleticism. This is how smart and a basketball IQ. You see Raven Johnson off the screen and then cut, great angle to the basket.
Talaysia Cooper subs in for Raven Johnson, and she'll run things. That's another one of the freshmen this year. She was number 18 overall and a McDonald's All-American. Bree Hall's got to shoot. She does. It'll stay with South Carolina. Last touch by Ole Miss.
You got Sanaya Fagan, who's come in. And as a post player, you just want to develop. There you go. Chloe Kitts comes in and gets involved.
And Chloe Kitts enrolling mid-year for South Carolina. Just her 14th appearance, number 17 in the 2023 class. This is a much different game than the first time that these two faced off. Ole Miss pushed South Carolina to overtime in the regular season. But the Gamecocks ready for it today on the SEC stage in the semifinals. Ashlyn Watkins.
Now, Dawn Staley has got to be pleased after struggling like they did in the regular season against the zone. Now, it's movement, it's contributions, it's a team effort. You can tell this team is collectively on the same page, and it looks like they are heading to the SEC Finals tomorrow.
A 10-0 run. Sanaya Fagan. Here come the Gamecocks once again. Their 8th appearance in the SEC Tournament Final. It's coming tomorrow. Fifth win of 20 or more points in an SEC semifinal. That is the most all-time. South Carolina ends on a 12-0 run. They shoot 53% from the field in this game and 5 players in double figures.
Well, and they got 54 of their points in the paint. Even though Ole Miss was in a zone, they weren't going to be denied. The movement of bodies, movement of the basketball allowed them to be productive on the offensive side.
South Carolina, their run, trying to get their 7th SEC tournament title. It continues tomorrow in that championship game, Sunday at 3 Eastern on ESPN. They will face the winner of our next game. LSU and Tennessee will take place in about 30 minutes, getting set for that one next. But it is South Carolina coming out and dominating. And Brooke is standing by with the new career rebound record holder at South Carolina.
Aaliyah, you may not know this, but you broke the career rebounding record for South Carolina today. Is that going to get, everybody got to give you your crown and the flowers. Knowing that's probably not on the top of the list of your mind right now, what does that mean to you?
I mean, it's something special. I think yesterday they said it was Miss Sheila Foster's record, and I just think that she's just been such a great supporter of me this entire time, but it just feels pretty cool to be able to do that.
There's not a defense or a criticism that this team has not seen, yet you managed to stay unbothered, focused, headed for a 2nd consecutive national championship. How do you do that?
You know, we're aware of the adjustments that we need to make, and we bought into it. We listened to coaches, and Coach Daly and the entire staff haven't let us wrong, and so here we are.
This team had 14 blocks today, team blocks.
Okay.
How hard is it to score on y'all in the paint?
I mean, we just try to make it difficult. That's our thing. Defense, you know, we continue to repeat that every time we step on the floor, and that's kind of crazy, though.
You got a chance to win this thing. You didn't get it last year. What will it mean to have an SEC championship?
It'll mean something special. I mean, our conference is one of the best in the country, and to win that and bring it back home to Columbia will be great. God's willing, we will.
All right, Aaliyah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations to the Gamecocks. Alyssa, we'll send it over to you.